The sky was quiet. The street lamps hummed their low electric song against the damp evening air. People walked with umbrellas, not yet open, held like cautious walking sticks. Birds rested on wires, silhouetted against a bruised, purple-gray sky. No one spoke of danger. A rhythm of footsteps and distant traffic. Weather maps told a different, urgent story. Satellite, a vast, swirling system over the Atlantic. A storm named Benjamin was coming. Met Office warnings were already out. Colored polygons on digital maps, quiet phone alerts, 2 inches of rain, winds up to 75 miles per hour. For many, just numbers on a screen, hard to match the calm outside the window. For some, this would be a scary night. This is a story about one storm, Benjamin, about how weather can surprise us, wind, water, and the small deliberate choices that keep us safe. The hush before the roar. A simple but powerful tool. Names make storms easier to track, to discuss, to remember. They give a weather system an identity, something people can prepare for. When the Met Office names Benjamin, people listen. They check their phones. They watch the evening news. A name turns a chart into something that demands attention. The first line of defense. The first warning came early. A bright yellow box on a website. Hours later, the color shifted to amber. Amber. Be prepared. Amber. Danger more likely. The Met Office message. Expect heavy rain. Expect strong wind. Expect travel problems. Expect power cuts. Expect fallen trees. The words are clear. The picture is clear. But the lived experience when the storm arrives can feel unclear. That's the part that makes a good story. Storms like Benjamin are born from a fundamental conflict in the atmosphere, a battle between different masses of air. It all begins when warm, moist air meets a mass of cold, dry air. The line where these two opposing forces meet is called a front. Air is always on the move, flowing from areas of high pressure to areas of low pressure, much like water flowing downhill. A low-pressure system acts like a giant, hungry mouth, or a vacuum cleaner for the sky. It draws air inward from all the surrounding high-pressure areas. As this air rushes in to fill the void, the Earth's rotation makes it spin, creating the characteristic swirling pattern we see on weather maps. Think of a storm as a giant, invisible pot of boiling water, with the ocean as the stove and the sky as the pot itself. The sun heats the surface of the ocean, causing water to evaporate and filling the air above it with warm, moist vapor. This warm air is less dense, so it wants to rise, like steam from the boiling pot. As it rises, it cools down. The lid of the pot is the cold, dense air higher up in the atmosphere. The rising warm air hits this cold ceiling, and the water vapor condenses into tiny droplets, forming massive clouds. The energy released is immense. The condensation of water vapor releases something called latent heat, which adds more fuel to the storm engine, making the air rise even faster. This rapid, upward movement of air creates the low pressure at the surface that pulls in even more air from the sides. This inward rush of air is what we feel as wind. The faster the air is pulled in and rises, the stronger the wind blows. It's a self-perpetuating cycle, an engine of air and water. It has a heart, the low-pressure center. It has arteries, the spiraling bands of wind and rain. It feeds on the temperature difference between the sea and the sky. Benjamin was a classic mid-latitude cyclone over the North Atlantic, steered toward the UK by the jet stream, a high-altitude river of wind. Understanding this anatomy shows a storm is not a monster, but a powerful natural consequence of how our planet works. Storm Benjamin was not the biggest storm the UK had ever seen, nor the most destructive. It would not make the history books like the Great Storm of 1987. Still, the numbers associated with it matter immensely. The forecast of 2 inches, about 50 millimeters, falling in a short period can overwhelm drains and cause flash flooding in urban streets. For a river already running high, that extra water can tip it over and burst its banks. Roads can instantly become dangerous canals. Then there is the wind. 75 miles per hour is classed as hurricane force. Benjamin's winds were gusts, not sustained, but still capable of significant damage. At that speed, the wind exerts a powerful force, snapping mature branches from trees, dislodging roof tiles, turning unsecured garden furniture into dangerous projectiles. A loose trampoline can become an airborne battering ram. Power lines, swaying under strain and falling debris, can break and plunge neighborhoods into darkness. Small failures accumulate into a large-scale emergency. The real danger is wind and rain together. Rain saturates soil at the base of trees, loosening roots. A strong gust can then topple a tree across a road, across a railway line, or onto a house. Water reduces tire grip. A sudden crosswind can push a vehicle, especially a high-sided lorry, into another lane or off the road. Tiny things add up fast. A wet leaf can make a car skid. A loose slate can become a flying guillotine. Small things become large in a storm. Respect the numbers. They are not abstract. They measure the storm's energy and how it will interact with our world. A 75 mph gust can lift a person off their feet. 2 inches of rain is thousands of tons dumped onto the landscape. When the Met Office issues these numbers, they give a script for a drama about to unfold. Our job is to read that script and prepare. Stay safe and out of harm's way. There are always surprises in every storm, moments that defy the neat predictions of the forecast. One of the most unsettling surprises is how quickly the character of the storm can change. The wind does not blow with a steady, constant force. It arrives in savage gusts, like punches thrown at the world. It can rage for several minutes, a deafening, high-pitched scream, and then suddenly die down to an eerie calm. In that quiet, you might think the worst is over, only for an even more violent gust to hit moments later. This unpredictable pulsing of the wind is what makes it so dangerous and so frightening. In the deep calm before the storm, small, everyday sounds become unnervingly clear. The click of a garden gate, the distant bark of a dog. But during the storm, the world simply roars. Human voices are swallowed by the noise. The wind creates a low, deep, guttural moan as it flows around buildings, a sound like a giant, unseen creature breathing just outside your walls. At night, in the dark, this sound can be deeply primal and intimidating. It taps into a part of our brain hardwired to respond to predators. A further surprise is the paradoxical role storms play in the wider ecosystem. While they bring destruction and danger to us, they are also a vital part of how nature functions. The immense rain they deliver is essential for replenishing rivers, lakes, groundwater. Powerful winds help disperse seeds over vast distances. That aids regeneration of forests. In the grand scheme, storms are a mechanism of renewal. They can hurt, they can heal. Perhaps the biggest surprise is the sheer physical force of water. Water seems soft, but when it moves fast and in volume, it is relentless. People are often shocked how little water it takes to move a car. Just 6 inches of fast-moving water can knock a person off their feet. As little as a foot can float many vehicles. A flooded road may look like a shallow puddle, but it can hide a powerful current underneath. Underestimating water's power is one of the most common and tragic mistakes. The surprise is not that the water rose, but that it was so strong. In a small village just north of the city, Lucy sat on her kitchen floor, the tiles cool beneath her. Her young son, Tom, was lining up his toy cars, creating a traffic jam near the skirting board. The radio on the counter was no longer playing music. A calm, serious voice repeated an amber warning: heavy rain, significant wind. Lucy had lived through one bad flood 5 years ago. She remembered muddy brown water creeping up the street, reaching the front door, seeping underneath. The memory, and the fear, had never left. But it had also become a teacher. Earlier that evening, she followed a quiet, methodical ritual of preparation. She gathered important documents, passports, birth certificates, insurance papers, sealed them in a large Ziploc bag, placed it on the highest shelf. She moved cardboard boxes of old photographs and letters from the living room floor onto the dining table. She plugged in her phone and a portable power bank, making sure both were fully charged. She filled large bottles with tap water.
"Will the wind come in, Mummy?" he asked, soft, wobbly.
"We will lock the doors tight," she said. "We will stay inside where it's safe. We'll be careful."
But fear also helps. It is a powerful motivator. It makes people like Lucy prepare. It makes them check the flood warnings, secure their homes, think ahead. It transforms anxiety into action. In another town, Paul stood on a bridge filming a rapidly rising river. He posted, "The river is rising fast." Strangers sent concerned messages. The local emergency team saw the post, saw how close he was to the churning water, and sent a direct message: "Please step back for your own safety." A moment later, a huge branch smashed against the bridge pier where he had been standing. He moved back. His post warned others. Small actions matter. The science behind a storm like Benjamin can sound complicated, filled with terms like baroclinic instability, geostrophic wind. But we can explain the essential ideas in simple words. At its core, Wind is just air moving from one place to another. Air naturally moves from areas of high pressure, where there's a lot of it squashed together, to areas of low pressure, where there's less of it. Imagine squeezing a tube of toothpaste. The paste moves from the high-pressure area, your hand, to the low-pressure area, the opening. The bigger the difference in pressure between two places, the faster the air moves to even things out. That is what we call strong wind. Rain is also a story of movement, but up and down. Rain comes when warm, moist air rises. As this air parcel travels higher into the atmosphere, it cools down, just as you feel colder when you climb a mountain. Cold air cannot hold as much water vapor as warm air. So, as the air cools, the invisible water vapor is forced to condense into microscopic liquid water droplets, clustering around tiny dust particles in the air. These droplets are so small and light that they can float, forming the clouds we see. When enough of these droplets bump into each other and merge, they become too heavy to float and fall to the ground as rain. The ocean is the engine of this entire system. The sun pours enormous amounts of energy into the sea, warming its surface. This warm water is a vast reservoir of fuel for storms. It provides two key ingredients, heat and moisture. The heat makes the air rise. The moisture becomes the clouds and rain. A storm is the atmosphere and ocean talking to each other, an energetic conversation about redistributing heat around the planet. The wind and the rain are the words they use. Weather forecasts are not magic, and they are not perfect. They are careful, highly educated guesses. Scientists feed vast amounts of data, satellites, weather balloons, ships, ground stations, into some of the most powerful supercomputers on Earth. These computers run complex mathematical models that simulate the behavior of the atmosphere. The models are like creating thousands of different maps of the future. Because the atmosphere is so complex, the maps are not always identical. That is why forecasters use words like likely, possible. The uncertainty is part of the science. This is why a personal plan is the best answer to the unknown. When the warnings are issued and the storm is on its way, panic is not helpful, but action is. There are a few clear, simple steps that everyone can take to prepare. First, look outside. Bring any loose objects indoors: garden furniture, bins, potted plants, children's toys. These items can be picked up by strong winds and cause damage or injury. Secure anything that cannot be brought inside. Close and securely fasten all windows and doors. Use storm shutters if you have them. Prepare for the possibility of a power cut. Torch with spare batteries. Avoid candles. They're a fire risk. Battery-powered or wind-up radio to listen for updates. Any essential medical supplies. Charge your mobile phone fully. Charge a portable power bank fully. Power cuts can last for several hours, so have a plan for light, information, and communication. Store bottled water. Store non-perishable, no-cook food. During the storm, the safest place to be is indoors. Avoid all unnecessary travel. Do not drive in heavy rain or on flooded roads. Your car can quickly become a trap. You can't tell the depth or how fast the water is flowing. Do not walk through floodwater. It can be contaminated. It may hide manholes or debris. Stay away from windows at the height of the storm. Keep pets inside. Comfort them. If you lose power, use your phone's data sparingly. Check the Met Office. Check your local council. Unplug sensitive electronics to protect them from a power surge. If you smell gas, do not use phones or switch on lights. Leave immediately and call the gas emergency service from a safe distance. These small, sensible steps combine into a powerful shield against the storm's impact. While most people shelter inside, a storm is a call to action for a dedicated few. Emergency teams work through the darkest hours of the night. They are people like Lucy, Paul, but they have been trained and equipped to move towards the danger. Firefighters, Coast Guard crews, police officers, ambulance teams. They monitor the weather updates constantly, positioning their vehicles and resources before the worst arrives. They set up barriers across flooded roads and answer the 999 calls. Their work is difficult and dangerous. They might be called to rescue a family trapped in a car by rising water, or to secure a roof being torn apart by the wind. Paramedics have to reach people in medical distress when roads are blocked by fallen trees. After the storm has passed, their work continues. Council workers and engineers clear streets, repair power lines, inspect bridges and buildings for safety. Their collective effort lets a community get back on its feet. Their work brings the quiet back. But storms also bring out the helpers in every neighborhood. In one apartment block, as the power went out, people opened their doors. A young couple with a camping stove boiled water for their elderly neighbors to have a cup of tea. Someone found an old battery-powered radio. Its tinny music in the hallway made everyone feel a little less alone in the dark. People used phone torches to check on those living by themselves, sharing blankets, sharing food, sharing reassurance. A small act of kindness matters a great deal during a long, frightening night. This is where hope is found, in the professionalism of the emergency services, and in neighbors helping neighbors. As dawn broke, the fury of Storm Benjamin was over. The wind had moved on, pushing its rain-heavy clouds eastwards. In its wake, the sound of small things returning to normal. Gentle drip from overloaded gutters, fallen leaves skittering across wet tarmac. First, tentative calls of birds. People stepped outside, blinking in the pale morning light. Air washed clean by the rain, puddles shining like silver mirrors. Lucy hugged Tom, tired and relieved. Their home was safe. A large branch had fallen at the end of the garden but missed the house. Paul checked his phone, dozens of messages about his video and warnings. Emergency teams took a deep breath after the night and headed home to their families, work done for now. The storm also leaves stories. Neighbors talking over garden fences, sharing the night's moments. A final, strange fact about storms that connects us all. Weather in one part of the world can influence weather thousands of miles away. A storm off the coast of America can nudge another system across the Atlantic. The atmosphere is a single interconnected web. Tropics can send ripples felt in the UK days later. Scientists watch the entire globe to know what might be coming. Our weather is a global story. Storm Benjamin was a test, a reminder. Clear warnings and simple actions matter. A few hours of preparation can save homes and lives. People instinctively help each other in the face of nature's power. But questions remain. How will weather change in a warming world? Will storms like Benjamin become more frequent, more intense? For now, answers live in small, clear actions. Listen to the Met Office. Prepare a bag. Charge your phone. Check on your neighbors. These small steps cut the power of fear. They create a calm, safe world inside the storm. The sea keeps turning. The sky keeps moving. The next storm will come. It will have a name. We can choose to be ready.